We are in the middle of the days of Chanukah. So when we learn a parsha this week, our parsha this week is Parshat Miketz, right in the midst of the story with Yosef and his brothers. So it's definitely the time to see how this is connected to Chanukah. So just something very short about it. That we always know that in the parsha of the week is always connected to the current events. We said many times, and in this week it's definitely connected to the story of Chanukah. And how do we find the connection? We know the story of Chanukah was the war of the Greeks against the Jews. But the war of the Greeks against the Jews was a spiritual war. As they said, they do not mind the Jews learning. That was the beginning of the war against them. They didn't mind them learning. They didn't mind them doing whatever you want to do. But get out from the learning the idea of believe and faith in Hashem. Learn because it's a beautiful knowledge. Do things, do mitzvah because it's a beautiful gesture, and so on and so forth. As it says in the Gemara, Kisvu lachem, they said, Kisvu lachem, write down, al keren ashoyer, on the horn of the ox, she'in lachem chelik belakei Yisrael, they do not have part in God of Israel. In other words, do whatever you want to do, but the idea of being part of everything you're putting in, that this is God. That's what I wanted to remove. And because they were fighting Jews so much, it ended up a real war, as we know the story with the war with Hashmonaim, with Yochanan Gadol, with the kids. And this is the big success that we had on Chanukah, the victor of the war, and then the miracle of the candles, of the oil, as we know the story. But the beginning of the problem, the beginning of the war, the spiritual war was, do whatever you want to do. Learn, pray, do mitzvahs, do whatever you want. Just get one thing out of it. Know Hashem. And this is what failed by them. Because a Jew, a mensch, somebody that connected to Hashem will always stay connected. We cannot disconnect ourselves. And that was the war, and that's where we prevailed, because we always stay with Hashem. Everything is Hashem. We learn Torah because it's Torah of Hashem. We do mitzvahs because it's the mitzvah of Hashem, and so on and so forth. Until a Jew is ready. When that was the story with the Maccabim, they went Mesirut Nefesh, they gave their life away for Hashem. How do we see all this in this parsha? In this week's parsha? So in short, in this week's parsha, we're learning about Yosef HaTzadik. Yosef HaTzadik was in jail. And why was he taken out of jail? Because we're learning this week's parsha. Because he knew and interpreted a dream. As we learned last week's parsha with the two kings. With the two ministers. And when we have the story of this parsha, the Pharaoh calls him in and he tells him his two dreams he saw. And he says, no. Rabbi Yosef, what do you have to say about that? Because all his advisors, so smart, wisdom people, nobody came to any good conclusion, as we know the story in this week's parsha. And he tells Yosef, you know that you not interpret a dream, could you give me the right answer? There's a long story about it, but it's the first line, and this is everything that he tells Pharaoh. When Yosef HaTzadik tells Pharaoh, you should know, the first thing is, whatever Hashem will put in my mind, this is what I know how to answer you. In other words, before he's giving him the answers, before he's giving the beautiful explanation that, as we'll know the story, Pharaoh loved it. The first thing he says, it's Elohim. Whatever Hashem tells me, this is what I'm going to tell you. It's Hashem's vision, and to me, this is what I know how to say. And this is why did Yosef say this is the first thing? Because Yosef, as the leader of the Jews, he saw it coming. That the test will be, is Hashem there? And this is why the first thing he said, don't call me for my wisdom. Don't call me because I'm special. It's Hashem. Whatever we know, whatever we understand, whatever we do, it's all Hashem. And with this idea, Yosef was really the first fighter against this Greek nation. Because as we know, one exile comes from another. The exile of Pharaoh brought then the exile of Babylonia to Persian exile, and Persian exile to the Greek exile, and then to the Roman exile. It's one goes after the other. It's all connected. So when we are talking about the Greek exile, that this was the story at this story of Chanukah. It all started by Yosef Hatzadi, the beginning of exile. And Yosef Hatzadi foresees everything. What does he say to Pharaoh? The first message, he just got to know him there. He didn't know him before. And he tells him, help me out, you're great, you're smart, you know how to do it. He tells him, no, it's not me being smart. It's not me being great. It's Hashem that's doing it. And this, he put the message, what is a Jew all about? When that message stays with us, and it stays with us in the story of Chanukah, that Mattatyahu, with his kids, they knew one thing: Hashem is with us. Yosef's message stayed with them through and through. And this is how they prevailed. No, we will not do it because of our wisdom, because we think it's right, because we think it's good. It's all about Hashem. Completely the opposite of this Greek culture. The Greek enforcing the Jews. No, it's all Hashem. On this we will prevail. And this has got to be a message for us. The message of Yosef, and related to the message of Chanukah for today. The success of Am Yisrael, the success of the positive, the success of the good, is not about my brain, my knowledge, my good doing. It's all about Hashem. Hashem is with me. We succeed. Oh, we do learn because Hashem said. We do mitzvahs because Hashem said. It's all because we are connected to Hashem. And this is the beauty of Am Yisrael. On this way we'll prevail. On this way we prevail to bring Mashiach Tzidkenu. Let's enjoy this Chanukah with this message. Have a good day.